Hello friends, so in this video we will be learning about the fundamentals of embedded system. Okay, so what do you mean by embedded system? It is a computer hardware system having a software embedded in it. Okay, so what this embedded means? So embedded is something that is attached to another thing. Okay, so it is an independent nature or it can be a part of a large system. And this embedded system is a microcontroller or a microprocessor based system that is designed to perform a specific task. Okay, so these embedded systems perform a particular task that is given. For example, we can see the fire alarm. It senses only the smoke, and a washing machine, it washes only the clothes, right? So they are given a specific task to do. And here you can see this is the textbook based definition for an embedded system. That is, an embedded system is an electronic or electromechanical system that is designed to perform a specific function and is a combination of both hardware and a software. Now we'll see the components of the embedded system. So the embedded system mainly have three components, that is hardware, software and the real-time operating system. We know what is hardware and software, right? So the real-time operating system supervises the software. It defines the way how the system works, and also it sets rules during the execution of the system. But in the small scale embedded system, the real-time operating system may not be there. Okay, so now we'll see the characteristics of the embedded system. So the first one is single functioned. So I have said earlier, the embedded system usually performs a specialized operation and does the same repeatedly. So the second one is tightly constrained. All the computing systems have constraints during the design of a system, right? And in the case of embedded system, these constraints are extremely tight. You want to see its size, power, performance, cost, all those things. And also this should be fit into a single chip. Okay. And the third one is reactive and real time. So many embedded systems must continually react to changes in the system's environment and must compute certain results in the real time. So these should be very alert that when a change in the environment happens, it should react to it without any delay. And the fourth one is microprocessor based, that it must be a microprocessor or a microcontroller based. And the memory. Memory, it should have a memory as its software usually embeds in ROM, and it does not need a secondary memories in the computer. And sixth is connected. It must have a connected peripherals to connect input and output devices. And the last is hardware and software system, which is very important. Software is used for more features and flexibility, and the hardware is used for the performance and the security. Okay. So now we'll see the applications. The embedded system is used in the consumer electronics like cameras, camera recorders. Then in the household appliances like a TV, fridge, oven, washing machine. And in the field of automotive industry, telecom, banking and retail, and the card readers. Now we'll see the advantage and the disadvantage of the embedded system. So advantages. So embedded systems are easily customizable and they have a very low power consumption and low cost, and it has a enhanced performance. And coming to disadvantage, it have a high development effort and larger time to market. So now we'll see the challenges of the embedded system. So the first one is lack of necessary flexibility for running an application. So we face several problems in terms of flexibility, like when the problems in ensuring smooth integration of new services and difficulty in adapting a new environments and the frequent changes that happens in the software and hardware facilities. And the second one is security crisis. Since all the embedded components operate in a highly resource constrained and in a physically insecure situations, the developers often face problems in ensuring the security of these embedded components. Okay, and the third one is high power dissipation. In a battery powered applications, power consumption is extremely important. Even in non-battery applications, the excessive power consumption can increase the heat dissipation. So careful design is required to slow down the non-critical parts of the machine for power consumption while still meeting the necessary performance goals. And the next is the problems in testing. For ensuring a reliable product design, conducting in-depth testing, verification and validation is another challenge. And the last one is increased cost and time to market. Apart from flexibility and security, embedded systems are tightly constrained by cost. The developers also need to resolve the design time problem and bring embedded devices at the right time to the market. Now we'll see the design process of the embedded system. And before that, the main challenges that comes across the design process is that the reactivity, heterogeneity and the complexity. And the major goals that we should consider when we design an embedded system is that the manufacturing cost, performance and the power consumption. Okay. Then the design process. We have about 5 steps in designing an embedded system, that is requirements, specification, architecture, components and the last, the system integration. So we'll see the first one, the requirements. So the requirements are the needs that are gathered from the user or the customer. Okay. So it can be of 2 types, non-functional or a functional requirements. The non-functional requirements is like the cost, weight, performance, all those things. And the functional requirements is the required memory, processor, like that. And the next is the specification. So creating more detailed description of what we want is the specification. And it states only how the system behaves, not how it built. That is, it describes only the function of the system, not how the function is done. The details of the system's internals begin to take shape when we develop the architecture, which is the next step, and which gives the system structure in terms of large components. Once we know the components, we design the system to a completely finalized output. So the third one is the architecture. So the architecture describes how the system implements the function. So this figure shows a sample system architecture in the form of a block diagram that shows the major operations and the data flows among them. Here we are not specifying the hardware and software components, but this shows the combination of both hardware and software. Now we'll see. Here you can see the separate block diagram for the hardware as well as software. Okay, so this is the block diagram of hardware, which shows the CPU that is surrounded by the memory IO devices, and this is the software where we have a database, user interface, timer, all those. And the next step or a phase in the design process of embedded system is the components. In the components, it mainly include hardware and software. Okay, so this is the architectural description that tells us what components we need. So these include both hardware and software modules. Some of these components are ready-made, like a CPU, a memory chips, like that. Then when creating a embedded software modules, it is important to ensure that the system runs properly in real time and does not take up most memory space than allowed it. And the last phase is the system integration. So after the components are built, they are integrated to get the final system. So mainly the bugs or errors that are found during this phase. So the system integration is difficult because it usually uncovers the problems. And the debugging facilities in the embedded systems are very limited. So it's more difficult when a bug or error arises.